Motivation is nice, but it doesn't get the job done. What gets the job done is discipline. You have to foster that. And I think it's a popular sentiment nowadays, but a lot of people stumble on the discipline creation. So we're going to go over that today. So what is discipline? It's essentially creating a habit. It's simply taking the willpower to take a goal-directed action and forge it into something that you're not really forcing yourself to do anymore. And ultimately, I think that's where a lot of people stumble, is that awkward phase of forcing yourself to do a thing that you're resisting, which you will naturally do, into making it something that you're just kind of doing on the background, that no matter what, you're doing it. I'll add a bunch of links at the bottom of this video that'll take you to scientific studies about what's actually going on in the brain when you're forming habits. It's fascinating. It's a great rabbit hole. But this is a fitness focused channel, so we'll focus on the building blocks of how to get there. So, how to build a habit. So first up, you want to create a goal. To do this, you really want to sit down and think about it. Really take the time to examine what you think would be valuable for yourself. And you do have time. If you're watching this video, you have time to do it. Simply put. So you want to consider things, even if you don't have a passion, consider something that you haven't done, might sound neat, or might sound miserable, but pick something. And that was to give yourself a decent amount of time to achieve it, because there's 3 stages to the goals you're going to make. You want 1 long-term goal, 1 mid-term goal, and 1 short-term goal. So we'll define that. Long-term goal. Pick something that's close enough that it will give you a feedback for your efforts, but not so far away, not so close that you can't realistically improve and do the thing, and not so far away that it seems like a pipe dream, especially if you're just starting to build discipline. Once you're disciplined, you can set, goals for decades, for your entire life, and you'll be fine. But when starting, pick like about a year. So I want to run a marathon next year. That's a popular one. It's a good one. So for your medium goal, your midterm goal, what you want to do is think about what it would take to achieve your long-term goal. So let's say we stuck with marathon running. What do I have to do to actually do that? Reverse engineer it. Well, do some work online, talk to trainers, whatever it is you have to do, but figure out what that looks like. In this case, you could look at month-to-month blocks and make little targets for those months. So every 4 weeks, I do a PT test and I hit these numbers. Or every 4 weeks, I do this and I get that. Or I should do a certain workout and these are my goals for that workout. And make them reasonable. If you're extremely unfit, don't set yourself up for failure, but don't make it so easy that you're guaranteed to hit them. Make them challenging. And then the short-term goal is what your day-to-day, week-to-week looks like. So it's like, okay, I need to have run a certain amount of miles every single month. I want to do, my build up. I want to have my build down, my whatever. But your short-term goal was like, okay, that means on Monday I do this. On Tuesday I do that. And then you really want to think about writing them down, declaring them, putting them somewhere to be accountable to. Now, accountability is something that's very important, because without it, you're very likely to just let it slip through your fingers. But who you're accountable to, what you're accountable to, will train you for future success or failures. There's nothing wrong in going on to like your social media accounts and telling people that you're doing the thing. In fact, I encourage it. I'll put some links at the bottom, but time and time again, humans are easier for us to fail ourselves than it is someone else. If we commit to somebody else, we tend to not want to let them down, but we'll let ourselves down all the time. And that's what you want to kill. So I think it's paramount that when you're building your accountability, that you really work on being accountable to yourself. Make a checklist, put it in a calendar. Monday I do this, Tuesday, etc. While it's fine to be sharing this progress with the world, if nobody cared, and I promise you they don't, nobody actually cares about your progress. They don't give a fuck. It is. Think about it. How many people's progress do you genuinely care about? You might be happy for somebody, but their progress isn't yours. You have to foster the ability to say, I'm going to do a thing, and every single day you're marking it off because you won't allow yourself to fall back. And that's where a lot of people struggle. That's where a lot of people fall off. If there was one perfect answer, I'd be a billionaire. I would just say, hey, buy my program, and you'd be doing it, right? But it means something different for so many different people. But you really have to take the time to discover that. That's your job. That's what you're trying to do. And if you're still watching this video, there's some interest in doing it. So fucking figure it out. It's not going to be easy, and that's okay. If it was easy, you wouldn't grow from it. So focus on being accountable to yourself. There's nothing wrong with having like a workout buddy. But if you depend on the workout buddy, you'll never progress. You'll keep restarting your program over and over and over. I promise you. Accountability to self. And that's really it. It sounds so simple, and it kind of is. It really is just about putting in the day-to-day work. It's about having that conversation with yourself, setting aside a goal, deciding, making the decision to do it. That's your motivation moment. And then just being accountable to yourself. Write it down. Make a note, use your phone, progress towards it. And after you've hit your goal, make another one. So if you hit your 1 year goal and you run your marathon and you're like, sweet, I did it. If you don't set another goal, you'll fall back into older habits. The idea is to keep this going. And it could take years. It could take like over 5 years before you're just really on autopilot. And that's fine. You're not trying to think about just today. You're trying to think about what you want to be like 5 years, 10 years, the day you die. Who are you going to be on the long run? So to recap, first off, think about your habits, good and bad. Decide the habits that you do want to change. Actually sit down and have a conversation with yourself. Turn off your phone. Get away from people. Have a real heart-to-heart with yourself. If you're watching this video, you have the time. If you don't have the time, fucking make the time. After you've done that, set a long-term goal. On X date, I'm going to do X. Set a medium goal. To do that every month, it means I have to have achieved this. Set a short-term goal. Every day, I do this. Every other day, I do that. And then just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. Don't let yourself down. Don't hold back. Don't let yourself slide and say, I can get away with a day. Just pick your brain and really get at it. Really say, fuck it. Today I change. I do this now. And that'll be the last part of my rant. Don't think of yourself as someone struggling to get it done. If you think of yourself as someone who isn't quite there, you will always be someone who isn't quite there. Think of yourself as, I've committed and I'm on my way. I'm currently achieving. Use positive words in your self descriptions. It makes a huge difference in your behaviors. I promise you. And maybe I'll put some links down there too. There'll be a whole bunch of links under this video. Get caught in that wormhole. It's a really healthy wormhole to go down to understand how your brain works and ways to kind of trick it and eventually, break out of your own patterns. I'm rooting for you. You should be rooting for yourself too, because frankly, no one else is gonna, right? You have to be there for you. So do it anyway.